The city that never sleeps has officially been brought to a grinding halt, frozen in a collective state of pure, unadulterated anticipation. For months, the rumors have circulated through the media like wildfire, whispered in the corridors of Hollywood power and shouted from the rooftops by millions of devoted fans across the globe. Today, those whispers have transformed into an undeniable reality that has effectively seized control of the cultural narrative. It is a day that many believed would eventually arrive, yet few could have truly anticipated the sheer magnitude, the staggering scale, and the absolute chaos that would accompany it. We are witnessing what is easily the most heavily guarded, meticulously planned, and wildly extravagant event in the modern history of popular culture. The intersection of two massive universes, the realm of global pop superstardom and the pinnacle of professional American sports, has finally culminated in a singular defining moment that is unfolding right now in the heart of New York City. The air is thick with excitement, but beneath the glamour lies a swirling vortex of logistical madness, unprecedented security measures, and a level of secrecy that rivals the highest echelons of government operations. It is a spectacle so massive that even the wealthy and the powerful individuals who are normally accustomed to pulling the strings of global entertainment find themselves completely at the mercy of this monumental occasion. Before we dive into the fascinating details of this unfolding story and pull back the curtain on the incredible atmosphere surrounding the big day, take a quick moment to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update on the breaking events that shape our world. To truly understand how we arrived at this chaotic Friday, one must look at the intense buildup that has been simmering behind closed doors for weeks. The preparation for an event of this magnitude does not happen overnight, and the sheer volume of coordination required to pull off what many are already calling the event of the century is nothing short of breathtaking. Behind the scenes, a small army of organizers, security experts, and high-level coordinators have been working around the clock, operating under strict instructions to keep every single detail under wraps until the absolute last possible second. The tension has been building steadily, culminating in an intimate rehearsal dinner on Thursday evening that served as the quiet before the storm. This private gathering, shielded entirely from the prying eyes of paparazzi and the public, offered a rare moment of calm for the central figures of this media storm before they stepped into the blinding spotlight of their main celebration. It was a sophisticated prelude to a day that would quickly spiral into beautiful, high-stakes madness, setting the stage for an evening that will be remembered for decades to come. As dawn broke over Manhattan this morning, the realization began to set in, for residents and visitors alike, that this was no ordinary summer Friday ahead of a major holiday weekend. The city was changing shape, molding itself around the demands of an event so massive that it seemed to possess its own gravitational pull. The venue selected for the grand celebration is none other than Madison Square Garden, an iconic arena that has hosted legendary musical performances, historic sporting events, and political conventions, yet has never seen anything quite like the transformation it is undergoing today. Transforming a massive sports and entertainment arena into an intimate yet grand wedding venue is a monumental task that requires an unimaginable amount of resources, labor, and creative vision. For days, heavily guarded transport vehicles have been arriving at the venue, unloading tons of custom decor, world-class sound equipment, and staging materials designed to create an immersive experience for the select few who managed to secure an invitation. The surrounding streets have been filled with the hum of activity, as workers rush to finalize the setup under the watchful eyes of private security details and local law enforcement. The scale of the preparations has naturally drawn massive crowds of onlookers who are hoping to catch even a fleeting glimpse of the celebrities expected to descend upon the venue later this evening. The atmosphere around the arena is a unique mix of festival-like energy and intense, high-security lockdown, creating a palpable sense of drama that grows with every passing hour as the clock ticks closer to the main event. Meanwhile, across the city's most exclusive luxury hotels, a different kind of frenzy is taking place among the elite guest list. The sheer concentration of wealth, influence, and fame gathered in Manhattan right now has created an unprecedented demand for premium services, leading to a highly competitive environment where even the rich and famous are forced to scramble. Elite hair and makeup teams, wardrobe stylists, and personal assistants are being stretched to their absolute limits as they attempt to prepare hundreds of high-profile attendees simultaneously. The pressure to look flawless for an event that will undoubtedly be analyzed by millions around the world has driven guests to extreme lengths, with reports emerging of individuals paying exorbitant premiums just to lock down their preferred stylists before they are snatched up by other powerful names. This frantic rush for perfection has added a layer of comedic chaos to the high-stakes environment, proving that when it comes to an event of this scale, no one is immune to the pressure. The sense of urgency is visible in the lobbies of five-star establishments where blacked-out luxury vehicles idle along the curbs, waiting to transport their famous cargo to the undisclosed locations where the day's early festivities are rumored to begin. It is a masterclass in organized chaos, a whirlwind of luxury and panic that perfectly encapsulates the unique nature of this historic day as the afternoon progresses. The true scope of the logistical challenge is becoming glaringly obvious to everyone involved. This is not just a wedding, it is a cultural phenomenon that has effectively hijacked the infrastructure of one of the world's largest metropolises. The contrast between the immense joy of the occasion and the logistical nightmare required to facilitate it has created a fascinating dynamic, one that highlights the incredible influence wielded by the two individuals at the center of it all. They have managed to command the attention of the entire world, uniting disparate industries and bringing together a collection of individuals that reads like a definitive who's who of modern society. Yet, as the final touches are put in place and the guests begin their final preparations, the underlying tension remains. The strict measures implemented to maintain secrecy have ensured that everyone, from the most famous pop icons to the most powerful corporate executives, is operating in an environment of total unpredictability. It is a brilliant strategy that has kept the public and the media guessing, ensuring that when the full details finally emerge, they will hit with the maximum possible impact. For now, the city waits, suspended in a state of vivid curiosity, as the opening chapters of this unforgettable night continue to unfold in real time. The curtain has finally been pulled back on the jaw-dropping guest list, revealing a gathering of power and influence that feels less like a traditional wedding celebration and more like a high-stakes global summit. As the hours tick away toward the massive main celebration at Madison Square Garden this evening, the sheer diversity and staggering influence of the over 1,000 invited guests have sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. This is a crowd where Hollywood royalty, music industry titans, professional sports legends, and corporate power players are colliding in ways never before seen. Among the most surprising names making this incredibly exclusive list are the highest echelons of corporate media leadership, specifically a powerful contingent of Disney executives. Former Chief Executive Officer Bob Iger, known globally for shaping the modern entertainment landscape, is expected to attend alongside David Greenbaum, the current head of Disney live-action films and 20th Studios. Joining them is Dana Walden, Disney's president and chief creative officer, signaling the deep, multi-layered corporate and personal relationships that tie the bride to the highest levels of media distribution. But the business heavyweights do not stop there, as AMC Theatres chief executive officer Adam Aron has also secured an invitation. This high-profile invite stems from the massive, historic partnership he forged with the bride for the theatrical distribution of her record-breaking 2023 Eras Tour movie, an innovative business move that completely transformed the traditional Hollywood distribution model and generated hundreds of millions of dollars. The music industry is predictably representing its finest, with the guest list reading like an internal directory of the world's largest record labels and promotional powerhouses. The chairperson of Universal Music Group, along with the visionary founders of Republic Records, are locked in to attend, representing the executive force behind the bride's historic musical catalog. Her longtime tour promoter, the mastermind behind the logistics of her massive global stadium runs, is also present, showcasing the tight-knit circle of professionals who have helped elevate her career to unprecedented heights. Alongside these industry architects are the iconic directors and creators who shape global culture, including legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg, whose presence adds an undeniable aura of cinematic prestige to the evening. The country music community has also turned out in massive numbers, with stars like Kelsea Ballerini, Maren Morris, Kane Brown, and Miranda Lambert all traveling to New York City to witness the historic union, proving that despite her global pop status, the bride's deep roots in Nashville remain incredibly strong and fiercely protected. Of course, the inner core of the bride's creative universe is fully accounted for, led by her closest musical collaborator and longtime co-producer Jack Antonoff, who arrived alongside his wife, actress Margaret Qualley. The legendary Swedish pop architects Max Martin and Shellback, who helped craft some of the biggest chart-topping anthems of the last decade, are also in attendance alongside Aaron Dessner, the multi-instrumentalist who helped reshape her sonic identity during her critically acclaimed alternative era. This creative brain trust is joined by a formidable circle of famous friends and pop culture icons. Global superstar Selena Gomez is expected to be at the center of the festivities alongside the multi-talented Haim sisters, global singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran, and supermodel Gigi Hadid. The next generation of pop stardom is also well represented by Sabrina Carpenter, who recently opened for the bride on her massive global tour, and even the boundary-pushing rapper Ice Spice, with whom the bride shared a highly discussed and heavily scrutinized musical collaboration back in 2023. The Hollywood presence continues to expand with acclaimed actresses like Phoebe Dynevor, Ellen Pompeo, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Mariska Hargitay, the latter being a particularly sentimental guest given that the bride famously named one of her beloved cats after Hargitay's iconic television character. Yet, for all the massive names confirmed to be inside Madison Square Garden tonight, it is the entries under the RSVP column that are generating the most intense speculation and whispers among the arriving elite. Rumors have reached a fever pitch regarding global icons Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Reports from major publications indicate that while the legendary power couple were almost certainly extended an invitation to the historic event, they may ultimately not attend, leaving fans and fellow guests on the edge of their seats waiting to see if a surprise late arrival will shake up the room. Even more fascinating is the confirmed absence of British pop icon Harry Styles. His invite raised eyebrows across the industry, considering his highly publicized, short-lived romance with the bride all the way back in 2012, a relationship that has since passed into pop culture history. Adding a complex layer of modern social dynamics, Styles is now reportedly engaged to actress Zoe Kravitz, who happens to be an incredibly close, longtime friend of the bride. While Kravitz is fully expected to attend the solo to support her friend, Styles is officially unable to join the festivities due to a massive, long-scheduled concert performance taking place in London this evening. Narrowly avoiding what would have been an incredibly highly analyzed public reunion, this unparalleled gathering of the world's most famous faces has thrown the entire guest list into what insiders are describing as a state of absolute giddy panic. The source of this collective anxiety is the unprecedented wall of security, airtight non-disclosure agreements, and intense fanfare surrounding the entire operation. Sources close to the attendees have revealed that even the most powerful and influential figures in entertainment are essentially flying blind, given almost zero details regarding the specific theme, schedule, or dress code of the main event. Guests were simply instructed to be in New York City by the morning of July 3rd and await further real-time instructions via heavily secured channels. This extreme lack of information has turned the process of selecting an appropriate outfit into an absolute logistical headache for celebrities and their high-priced styling teams. Adding to the tension, the bride and groom have implemented brilliant, high-tech security measures to prevent any unauthorized information from escaping into the public domain. The digital invitations sent out to guests were customized with invisible individual watermarks containing the specific recipient's name. This means that if a single screenshot or digital image of the invite leaked to the media, the couple would instantly know exactly which guest was responsible for the breach. Furthermore, every single individual on the 1,000-person list was required to sign a comprehensive non-disclosure agreement that carries staggering financial liability if any private details of the wedding weekend are leaked to the public, forcing even the most talkative celebrities to maintain absolute silence as the pressure cooks inside the luxury hotel suites. The general vibe of the event was perfectly captured by one prominent guest who summarized the entire high-stakes experience to a major media outlet with a single blunt phrase, calling the monumental event a really fun shit show. It is an environment where billionaires and chart-topping artists are overpaying to lock down hair and makeup teams, terrified of losing their preferred stylists to other high-profile attendees in a frantic, comedic race for aesthetic perfection. The juxtaposition of immense luxury and total unpredictability has created an electric, high-octane atmosphere that defines this historic Friday. But while the elite are laughing and drinking champagne behind closed doors, a very different sentiment is brewing right outside the venue walls, where the reality of this massive event is clashing directly with the daily lives of everyday New Yorkers. setting the stage for an intense community backlash that threatens to overshadow the joy of the big day. While the star-studded guest list navigates the high-stakes luxury of their restricted inner circle, the reality of this monumental event has crashed hard into the concrete streets of Manhattan, sparking an intense wave of local anger and frustration. For everyday New Yorkers, the glamorous celebration represents less of a fairy tale union and more of a logistical nightmare that has effectively paralyzed a massive portion of the city's busiest transit hubs. The New York City Police Department announced earlier this week that widespread street closures would take effect immediately on July 3rd, completely blocking both vehicular traffic and pedestrian access to multiple blocks surrounding Madison Square Garden. This sweeping security perimeter has severely disrupted operations at two of the city's major train stations, creating an absolute transport crisis directly ahead of the long, heavily traveled holiday weekend. Thousands of commuters attempting to leave the city for their summer vacations have found themselves trapped in endless lines, facing canceled routes and massive delays caused entirely by the unprecedented security measures implemented to protect the arriving celebrity elite. The backlash from locals has been fierce and immediate, with frustrated residents taking to social media to heavily criticize the famous couple for what many have branded an embarrassing tone-deaf display of excessive wealth, power, and unchecked societal influence in an effort to soften the inevitable public relations blow and address the growing community resentment. The bride's representative released a major announcement intended to shift the narrative back toward positivity. Ahead of their heavily speculated wedding weekend, the couple quietly authorized a staggering $26 million donation distributed among several prominent charitable organizations, with a significant portion of those funds specifically directed toward local nonprofits operating inside New York City. This massive financial contribution aimed to address critical issues like food insecurity, youth programs, and community development across the 5 boroughs, demonstrating a clear effort by the couple to balance their massive environmental and logistical footprint with a substantial act of philanthropy. While the gesture has certainly been praised by the beneficiary organizations, it has done little to soothe the immediate frustration of commuters stuck in gridlock traffic or stranded on crowded station platforms, highlighting the deep, ongoing tension between the absolute cultural dominance of these two superstars and the everyday reality of the city they have chosen as their grand stage. To understand why this specific day matters so much, and why it has generated a level of global obsession that defies comprehension, one must look at the extraordinary journeys of the two individuals at the heart of this media storm. The bride has spent over 2 decades in the public eye, evolving from a determined teenage country singer in Pennsylvania into an untouchable global pop icon whose economic and cultural impact is actively studied at major universities. Her career has been defined by a unique ability to transform her deeply personal experiences, her heartbreaks, and her triumphs into universal anthems that resonate with millions of fiercely loyal fans. Every era of her career has marked a distinct chapter in modern musical history, and her ongoing global tour has broken every financial record in existence, cementing her status as one of the most influential artists to ever live. For a performer who has spent her entire adult life navigating the intense scrutiny of the media spotlight, this day represents a deeply significant personal milestone. A moment of profound personal fulfillment that has been long awaited by her global community of supporters. Equally compelling is the journey of the groom, a powerhouse athlete who has reached the absolute pinnacle of professional American sports through sheer determination, charisma, and an unmatched competitive drive. Rising from a humble Midwestern upbringing, he transformed himself into one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game of football, securing multiple championship rings and earning a reputation as a fierce leader on the field and an incredibly vibrant personality off it. His career trajectory was already legendary within the sports world, but his high-profile relationship with the world's biggest pop star vaulted him into an entirely new realm of global fame, transforming him overnight from a national sports icon into a household name recognized in every corner of the world. Together, they represent the ultimate convergence of two massive pillars of modern entertainment, a true cultural phenomenon that bridges the gap between the stadium lights of professional sports and the roaring crowds of global pop arenas. Their relationship has been tracked with unprecedented intensity, making this evening's grand celebration the ultimate culmination of a romance that has captivated the collective imagination of the world, as the sun begins to set over the Manhattan skyline. Casting a golden glow across the heavily guarded exterior of Madison Square Garden, the final preparations are complete and the grand spectacle is officially underway. The musical performances scheduled for this evening are rumored to feature some of the most iconic names in music history, ensuring that the celebration inside the arena will be just as historic as the Union itself. Despite the chaotic preparation, the intense security lockouts, the frantic styling emergencies, and the loud protests of frustrated commuters, the sheer magnitude of what is transpiring in New York City today cannot be denied. This is an event that has completely rewritten the playbook for celebrity gatherings, a night where the boundaries of fame, corporate power, and cultural influence have been pushed to their absolute limits. It is a moment frozen in time, a complex, vibrant, and unforgettable chapter in modern popular culture that will be analyzed, discussed, and remembered for generations to come. The lights inside the grand arena are up, the music has begun to play, and the world continues to watch in absolute awe as this unforgettable story reaches its definitive, historic climax.